we present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, a panel game, and your chairman tonight, Humphrey Littleton.
Hello. Well, this is the last program in this series. So those of you who aren't asleep will be on tenterhooks. I'm going to tell you that the two teams this time are Joe Kendall and Graham Garden. Tim Brooke Taylor and John Cleese. And in this first round, I'm going to ask each team to sing the words of one song to the tune of another, starting with Joe and Graham. Will you sing the words of Yellow Submarine to the tune of I Was Born Under a Wandering Star? For the benefit of listeners at home, Joe Kendall was singing the lower part there. 2 marks for that, I think. I don't know why. Tim and John, I want you to sing the words of Things Ain't What They Used to Be to the tune of Oh Mine Papa.
They've changed a little valley into a bowling alley, and things ain't what they used to be. There's tent with great white trousers and debs in the coffee houses, and things ain't what they used to be. It used to be fun and old dumb paddling down South End, but now it ain't done. Never mind, John, Paris is where we spend our outings. Grandma cried to rock and roll, laughing ain't what they used to be. And it all stopping, ain't what they used to be. For things ain't what they used to be.
Can't help feeling sorry for Lionel Barr. First bankruptcy and then this. Give it 1 mark for interpretation there. This is where I give the team some time to think up names for the late arrivals at the Geographical Society Ball. At the very end of the program, they're going to be asked to announce these late arrivals, and that's the ball that you have to announce them for, the Geographical Society Ball. Right. On now to a thing which is called, a round which is called Daffy Definitions. In this round, I shall give each player a word which they may or may not know, and ask them to define it. If their definition is anywhere near the correct one, I shall be very surprised. Tim Brooke Taylor, yours is the first word.
Who is it?
And it is Gaius Cutus.
Gaius Cutus?
Gaius Cutus.
A Gaius Cutus is a left-handed toothbrush used by a little-known African tribe, so little-known that not even I've heard of them. One thing that is known about this tribe, in fact, is that they have these left-handed toothbrushes for the teeth that they wear around their left hand, capture from their enemy. That is known. That's the only thing.
Well, that's extremely doubtful, but it's better known than any other fact.
That's probably true. That's all we've got to work on, anyway.
Well, I'll give you 1 mark for that.
Thank you.
Because it is, in fact, a mythical four-legged beast with legs on one side longer than on the other to enable it to walk round the sides of steep hills.
That's another theory, but I don't...
Gaia scutus. Joe, yours is the next word, and it's colt pixie.
Oh, that's easy. There are pixies in Scotland. And when it snows, they pop out of their heather-lined burrows and say, "Oh, it's cold." Hence their names.
It is fairly close to it. A colt pixie is a mischievous hobgoblin supposed to appear as a colt and mislead men into bogs. And as a lady, you wouldn't, of course, know about that sort of thing.
No, I wouldn't. True.
We'll have to give you a consolation mark. Now then, who's this? Graham. I want you to define a fern tickle.
Well, this comes from Old Middle English. In fact, just to the left of Middle English. Tickle, as we know, is the approximation of the digits to a susceptible portion of the anatomy and the pleasurable or otherwise sensation produced by their motion. Fern, it's true.
He's a doctor.
Fern,
He's a doctor.
He is a doctor.
He's a doctor.
Fern comes from the Scandinavian, higher Scandinavian, well, halfway up Scandinavian, and fern, the same root that we get the word fun. So a fern tickle is an enjoyable tickle.
You're going to have a couple of marks there because you're exactly halfway to the right answer. If you take a mean point between mid-England and Scandinavia, you actually come to Scotland, which is where this word comes from, and it's Scottish for a freckle. And I should say, since a look of disbelief has come over Graham's face, I should say that all these definitions are from Webster's dictionary.
Dictionary.
Be careful, you might have to sing that later. And therefore these are all proper words, or as proper words as ever get into Webster's dictionary.
Well, it all depends on...
John Cleese, your word is...
Mr. Webster. I mean, who has ever met Mr. Webster? He may be a practical joker on the most immense scale. Here we are, accepting his bona fides without any evidence.
John, wipe your eyes and listen to this word. This is your word. Almoravid.
Oh, yes, well, I know what this is. Yes, I do, actually, because I was in Morocco 4 months ago, and it's the second recognised dynasty of Moroccan kings coming between the Almohads and the Sardians.
Or not.
You might get a mark if you tell me where they live.
Two-story, two up, two down, made of congealed sand and juice squeezed from camels.
But I should buy now.
If you tell me that this particular dynasty lived in a fortified convent, you would have got your 19... Got your 19...
Say anything for a laugh, won't he?
Well, we've been badly treated. I'm having it put in my contract from now on, no Webster.
And I'm going to tell you that the next round is limericks, and your thing is there once was a person called Webster. No, I'll let you off that. This is incidentally where I give each team the opening line of a limerick, and they must complete it. And we'll start with Joe and Graham. And your opening line is, there was a stout person from Brum.
I see your game.
There was a stout person from Brum.
Who lost £20 off her tongue.
When people said, "Great,"
She replied, "Just you wait."
till you see what I've lost from my thumb.
We'll give you 3 marks for that. Tim and John, your first line coming up. A boozer who lived in Dundee.
Oh, a boozer who lived in Dundee.
Decided to go on a spree.
He visited pubs.
Where he drank out of tubs.
Until it was time for his tea.
Score at the moment is 8 to Joe and Graham and 7 to Tim and John. And this next round is the singing relay, where I give each team a song to sing, taking alternate words. And anyone who spoils the song by singing out of turn or out of tune will be taken from this place, hung, drawn and quartered, boiled in oil, and compelled to listen to a complete replay of this series. Joe and Graham, your song, please, is Second Hand Rose.
I'm wearing second-hand hats, second-hand clothes. That's why they call me second-hand rose. Even a piano in the parlor for 10 cents. Second-hand toils, I'm wearing second-hand coils. I never get a single thing that's new. Even Jacob Plummer, he's the man I adore. Had the nerve to tell me he'd been married before. Everyone knows that I'm just second-hand rose. Second Avenue.
They look so smug about it.
Anyone can do it if they want to.
A clear round to Joe and Graham. Tim and John, your song is The Ballad of Davy Crockett.
Born on a mountain top in Tennessee, green estate in the land of the free, raised in the woods, so he knew every...
That's very difficult. So's he knew every tree. That's
As this is the last program and you're lagging behind by 1 point, we'll allow you to try and regain a mark by singing it again much slower.
Born on a mountain top in Tennessee, green estate in the land of the free, raised in the woods, so every tree, killed him papa when he was only 3. Dave Crockett, king of the Warren year.
Dave Lee at the piano there, taking the law into his own hands. So the score now is 8, 9, 10, 11 against 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It really doesn't matter who's got which. The next round is a round called Spot the Noise. This time I shall ask each player to identify for 1 mark a noise. Now the way we're going to judge this is a sort of composite noise which has been put together by the effects department, and the players are asked to give a plausible explanation for this particular noise, and they'll be judged on the strength of the applause that they get from the audience here. So Graham, first of all, here's your noise.
I like like a nice plate glass window break.
Ah, yes. What was that? That was somebody doing a Le Mans start. Oh, yes. It was Helmut Mecklenburg-Strelitz doing a Le Mans start. It's true. A Le Mans start into his revolutionary new gas turbine car, the Formula One Mecklenburg-Strelitz Special. Revolutionary new car made entirely of glass. That was the late Helmut Mecklenburg.
Right. Joe Kendall, here's your noise.
Easy.
Easy. It's rural celebrations on Phil Archer's wedding night, which consists of mincing crows in a squeaking machine and throwing Walter Gabriel headfirst into a vat of milk.
Right, Tim Brooke Taylor, your noise now.
New musical version of Gone with the Wind. I expect you might.
John
It might
thinks
not be
your
allowed.
noise coming up.
Well, I heard the audience laugh at the end. I didn't hear the effect. What was the...
I think it was, could be Webster compiling his picture.
I think it's somebody, the sort of... type of thing is obviously somebody reading Webster.
Reading Webster.
Webster, a well-known lexicographer and practical joker. And then, as far as I can see, several months passed. Then there was a sound effect of Mr. Webster's index fingers being fed into a mincing machine. And then our studio audience laughed. I didn't hear the last bit, but I think it was sort of cries of almost unbearable cries of pain and agony, which I couldn't really hear because the audience were giggling. But that's, I would say, probably it was about 12 minutes late.
Well, we have an aggregate there of 18 to Graham and Joe. That's 1 mark per second of applause. And an aggregate of 17 to Tim and John, bringing the score 2. Now we go on to Calypso time. If you've noticed a certain amount of sort of padding up to now in the program, it's been to delay the moment when we come to Calypso time. Each team will be given by me a subject on which they must improvise a 4-line calypso, singing alternate lines. Tim and John, your subject, please. Crafts.
I'll do the beginning. Excuse, warming up. Oh, I went to Crufts the other night.
The dog's owners, they were an incredible sight.
They've started to behave so much like their pets.
They had to plant trees in the toilet.
I've got 3 marks for that. John Graham, your subject is Entente Cordiale.
Her Majesty the Queen the other day.
She went to Paris a long way away.
The only question I am asking.
Asking?
You!
Ah, that's easier. The only question I'm asking you is what did Monsieur Pompidou?
You score 4 points on that, bringing Joe and Graham's total to 22 and Tim and John's to 20. And we go on to the next round, which is tag wrestling. This is where I give each team the tagline of a story or anecdote. I shall start with one team who must start a story, or rather they must tell the story ending in their tag. But when I press the buzzer, the story passes to the other side, who must work towards their finishing tagline. So the winning team is the one which reaches their tagline first. That's what it says here. So Tim and John, I'll give you your tagline first, towards which you must work. Here it is. So it's true, exclaimed Aunt Alice, pulling on her boxing shorts with a leer. The iced bun was yours all along, Lady Cynthia. Joe and Graham, your tagline is this. Come in number 3, screamed the Cardinal. And everyone in the baker's shop went quiet. Or Paddy may never tap dance again. And we're going to start this story off with Tim and John.
John.
Well, one day, walking along Hackney High Street was Lady Cynthia Thing, who was feeling very hungry. She popped into the fish and chip shop for a little rock salmon and chips, and then she popped into the bakery for some iced buns and chips.
Did you know that this was the bakery attached to the Vatican, close to the Vatican boating pool?
In Wapping High Street?
Cardinal what?
In Wapping High Street?
That's the Wapping Vatican. That was not the one in Rome, you fool.
They're everywhere.
Anyway, Cardinal Wilson was standing by the boating pool watching the boats going past when Paddy, who had come to say a prayer to St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes, stopped by and passed the time of day saying,
I'm about to push you in. And he did. Paddy dived in to help him, and they both drowned. Meanwhile, Lady Cynthia, who we were talking about earlier, moved into the bakery and said, what I'd like is that ice bun over there. Aunt Alice, at this moment, who was doing a little shadow boxing.
By a remarkable act of faith, the Cardinal and Paddy rose from the water. And as he had to change his clothes, Paddy put his tap shoes on to keep his feet dry.
Tap shoes on to keep your feet dry.
Turn them on.
Oh, I see. You turn them off. So, anyway, this nun said to the no, that's another story. What about so Aunt Alice, whose recent acts had faded from the memory, and who was in fact shadow boxing and having a hell of a job keeping the shadows in the boxes, because once you closed them, they came out. She thought this is very strenuous work.
Get out, said the Cardinal. Now, Paddy was once again finding it very difficult to tap dance because of his recent immersion in the boating leg. And an emergency operation was prescribed by the Cardinal. Ah, they said, the only person who can perform this operation is out there, in boat number 3 in the middle of the boating leg. You probably see him from where you are.
Ah, that's Aunt Alice's sister. You remember Aunt Alice? You know her. She's the famous boxing champion. Meanwhile, the shadow boxing champion. Meanwhile, Alice was boxing her champions. No, she wasn't. Was putting her boxes into shorts. I'm going to go blim, blim, blim. Blim, blim, blim. There, I told you so.
Well, as this was quite irrelevant to what the Cardinal was about to say, the Cardinal, notwithstanding Aunt Alice, said, come in number 3.
So it's true, exclaimed Aunt Alice, pulling on her boxing shorts for the lady. The ice bomb was yours all along, Lady Cynthia, the end. We win! We win! We win!
We won. Tim and John win that one because Joe and Graham won last time. 25 to Joe and Graham, 23 to Tim and John. We come to the point where I ask the teams to announce the late arrivals at the Geographical Society Ball. 1 mark per name. Let's hear first of all from Graham Garden.
Mr. and Mrs. Eastern Hemisphere and their son Western Hemisphere and his brother Eastern Hemisphere.
Holy.
Also arriving at the Geographer's Ball are, and all together please, Mr. and Mrs. Pelagos and their son Archie Pelagos.
Ah, you know him.
Joe?
Arriving at the ball, Mr. and Mrs. Transatlantic Crossing and their dog, Ruff Transatlantic Crossing.
The Australian ambassador and his wife and their pet koala, Lumper. Mr. and Mrs. Ferris Tree and their daughter, Connie Ferris Tree.
Mr. and Mrs. Tory and their unmarried daughter, Virgin Terry Tory.
At that point...
And Mr. and Mrs. Reef and their daughter, Coral.
Mr. and
City of
Mrs.
Atlantis.
High Street and their step-cousin, Ken.
Mrs. West Passage and their daughter Nora West Passage.
Mr. and Mrs. Mountains and their son Andy.
At this point...
Mr. and Mrs. Zimbalist Jr. and their son Iceberg. Worth a try.
At this point, it could be going on afterwards, but at this point, it's time to announce the final score that you've been waiting 13 weeks to hear. And it is William and Mary, 1,184, Robert and Elizabeth, 308, making Sid and Enid the overall winners. It only remains to say goodbye on behalf of Joe Kendall and Graham Garden, Tim Brooke Taylor and John Cleese, and our musical accompanist and director, Dave Lee.
That was Humphrey Lyttelton making closing remarks on behalf of Tim Brooke Taylor, John Cleese, Graham Garden and Joe Kendall, Dave Lee at the piano, and producer John Castles.
we present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, and your chairman tonight, Barry Cryer. Thank you, and welcome again to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the panel game that proves that life isn't all misery and bad news. It can be chaos as well. This is a clearly defined panel game with very tightly knit rules, and my name, of course, is Steve McQueen. At the piano we have our very own Mr. David Lee, and confronting each other we have two teams. On my left, listeners, you'll have spotted them on my left. We have first Mr. John Hello Sailor Cleese, partnered by Graham Goody Goody Garden, and opposing them we do in fact have Bill Let It All Hang Out Oddie and Tim Brooke No Argument Taylor. Let us plunge, gentlemen, into the morass of the game with the first round, which is rather evocatively entitled The Singing Sprint. A member of each team will be asked to sing a song as fast as he possibly can, and then a member of the opposing team will then endeavour to sing the same song even faster. The first contestant will, in fact, be Mr. Tim Brooke Taylor, who is going to endeavour to sing Gilly Gilly Ossenpfeffer Katzenellenbogen by the Sea, the well-known firm of solicitors. Tim, see how fast you can sing the aforesaid David Lee poised at the keyboard.
There's a tiny house by a tiny stream where a lovely lass had a lovely dream, and the dream came true quite unexpectedly, and Gilly Gilly Ossenpfeffer Katzenellenbogen by the Sea. It was all there. It was all there.
A couple of illies strayed there. I'm bearing that in mind, John, as you, in fact, to say the very same song to see how fast you can sing it.
There's a tiny house by a tiny stream where a lovely lass had a lovely dream, and the dream came true quite unexpectedly in Gilly Gilly Ossenpfeffer Katzenellenbogen by the Sea.
John took longer, Tim dropped two illies. I'll call that draw. 2 points all, and we in fact now go to Mr. Bill Oddie, who is going to essay that wonderful song from the film starring the immortal Eamon Andrews. The song is Do, Re, Mi. Bill, please.
Don't count that. Wait a minute. I'm taking a breath. Do a dear, a female dear, Ray, drop a golden sun, me a name, I call myself, all along the way to run. So a needle pulling thread long, let it full of dough, tea, and milk with jam and bread, which brings me back to dough.
I made that about 6 seconds, 6-ish. Graham Garden, would you do likewise?
Do a dear, female dear, Ray, drop a golden sun, me a name, I call myself, all along the way to run. So a needle pulling thread long, let it full of dough, tea, and milk with jam and bread, which brings me back to dough.
Objection by Mr. Tim Taylor.
Dear.
Pardon?
Femal dear.
A femal dear?
Yeah.
I'm going to make that a draw. I'm going to make the whole round a draw. 4 all. Too much gibberish about. The next thing I have to do is to set up something that the teams are going to do later in the programme. If you'll keep listening. Late arrivals. We want the names, gentlemen, of rather silly people, or the silly names of people who are going to arrive at a certain function. Would you think of some silly people who are going to arrive late at the musicians' ball? The musicians' ball. And we'll be coming back to that later in the programme. In the next round was going to be on current affairs, but none of the teams had ever had an affair with a current. Please, you're not kind enough. This round is called tag wrestling, I should explain. Tag meaning tagline, the punchline, the end line of some story. I'm going to give each team the tagline of a story or anecdote, and I shall start with one team who must tell a story ending in their tagline. When I press my buzzer, the story passes to the other side, who must work towards the finishing line that I've given them. The winning team is the one who reaches their tagline first. Tim and Bill, your tagline: suddenly the moon came up over Bangkok. Suddenly the moon came up over Bangkok, and Dr. Muller closed his diary for the last time. Too easy, but that's the way we started. And at the same moment, simultaneously, we cry, Graham and John are going to construct a story finishing with the line, wham! Exclamation mark. And the Christmas pudding disappeared into the Mersey Tunnel. I'm going to recapitulate. They can't touch you for it. The Tim and Bill story finishes, suddenly the moon came up over Bangkok and Dr. Muller closed his diary for the last time. And Graham and John's story, wham, and the Christmas pudding disappeared into the Mersey Tunnel. There's a sort of 10-second-ish air about this, but we will in fact start with Mr. Bill Oddie.
The scene, Bangkok, India. The chief character, Bangkok isn't in India. Well, there is a Bangkok in India, actually, and that's where... Don't distract me.
John, please.
Meanwhile, several thousand miles away, while listening to news of the events in Bangkok,
Tim Brooke Taylor.
And the events that were happening in Bangkok that they were listening to was of Dr. Muller, who had...
Graham Garden recently died.
You've got 2 seconds, Graham.
It was Christmas, and my father had...
You mustn't get applause. Back to Bill.
And at that moment, the doctor came in and said, I'm sorry, there's been a mistake. Dr. Muller is by no means dead. Dying, yes.
John,
but
please.
there is a phone call from him from his famous footballing son Muller of Bayern Munich, who only this evening are playing Liverpool at Anfield.
Tim Brooke Taylor.
But I digress, he said. At that moment, Dr. Muller, newly awakened from the dead, picked up his diary...
Graham Garden.
dropped dead. But his son, playing at Anfield, popped into our house to have a slice of Christmas pudding.
And said, do you mind if I turn on the television for a few minutes? He turned on the television, what should he see but Dr. Muller? A film of him, dead he was, but...
At that moment, the Christmas pudding was dropped. Muller, falling forwards from the shock of seeing his father on the television, struck it with his head, and wham!
And said, I've never seen a football look like that. It looks more like the moon to me. It reminds me of a time in Bangkok when suddenly...
Oh, forget the story, he said, kicking the pudding. Wham! And the Christmas pudding disappeared into the Mersey Tunnel.
Oh, give it to... Yes, yes. Graham and John 2-0, but we've got to do that again. We've got to give Tim and Bill a chance to savour revenge. Tim and Bill, will you make note of this tagline? Suddenly he removed the Chinese mask, and there stood the Archbishop of Canterbury. Graham and John will meanwhile toy with, oh God, she cried, how can I tell father that the monkey was French? Suddenly he removed the Chinese mask and there stood the Archbishop of Canterbury, Tim and Bill. Oh, God, she cried, how can I tell father that the monkey was French, John and Graham? Let's start it the other way round this time. John and Graham, if you've got your tagline. And we'll start with Mr. John, please.
Amanda was sitting in the garden one day, watching her father mowing the lawn, when she began to remember some of the...
things she'd read in a book. It was Halloween, she remembered, the story went, and everyone wore masks on their faces. There was a tense hush around the...
Graham.
At that moment, her father came up. What is this book you're reading, he said. Is it some French novel? You know I can't stand anything French.
No, she said, it isn't a French novel at all. It's a book about Halloween when everybody wears masks, especially Chinese masks, which have very little eyes, so it's very difficult to see.
What an extraordinary thing, she said, but... there is another book inside, almost identical to this, which is... I'm surprised that you mistook it for the same.
Tim.
Mistook it for the same? Never, she said. It's about Chinese masks and religious cults in the West.
Graham.
At that moment, her pet monkey hopped onto her shoulder. Father patted the monkey on the head. I'm quite fond of it, he said.
Quite fond of the monkey, he said, but let's get back to this book. As you will remember, Chinese masks are very little eyes, so it's difficult to see where you're going. And this fella said...
John Cleese.
To his surprise, in fact, while setting eyes upon the monkey, he was almost sure that it was an old friend of his that he had once met in Borneo.
Tim.
Then he remembered he'd made a complete mistake. He remembered, in fact, line 43 on page 92 about the Archbishop of Canterbury, who removed the...
Who had also been in Borneo at the time, as the friend and the monkey. My friend was French, said Father.
Bill.
Said Father, and a funny thing happened to him, because he was wearing a Borneo mask, which actually is very similar to the Chinese mask, and might as well be called the same thing. And that also has very little eyes, and it's very little...
Amanda, who was in the habit of shouting out extraordinary things for no good reason, shouted, "Oh, God," she cried, "how can I tell?"
Shabby.
Speaking of God, suddenly he removed
Name
the Chinese
dropper.
mask, and there stood the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Tim and Bill 3-0. The hardback will be published in the autumn. Now we move to the next round. By the way, we've had a lot of letters from listeners asking, is Tim Brooke Taylor? I've been asked to reply yes, but not necessarily in that order. Now, the next round is called Word for Word. This was going to be a round for female impersonators, but Bill failed the medical, so I'm going to give each team a word,
Happy to say.
and they must immediately come up with another word, the other member of the team, that is, which has nothing whatsoever to do with the word that started it all off. So I think I'll start with John on this occasion. John, will you start with the word ostrich?
Cricket. Pentateuch.
Alcibiades.
Challenged by Bill Oddie.
I couldn't say either of the last two words.
I'll allow that. I'll allow that. A connection has been established. I'll allow that. 2 points. Let's leap over to the other team, and I'll say to Tim Brooke Taylor on this occasion, Tim, I'll say earring.
Horse.
Jack.
Lever.
Pie.
Jack Lever used to open the bowling for
Oh, the
We've
glibness of
gone
it.
past that.
2
the
points,
buzzer
John,
would
please. Good. Graham Garden. Pterodactyl.
Parsley.
Grange.
Overture.
spoke.
Light.
Elm.
Sorry.
Challenged by Tim Brooke Taylor. Were you sitting on it? I couldn't know.
I regret it, whatever it was.
Yes, indeed.
I think they should carry on.
40 points. One for charity. Now, but in fact, we will. In fact, yes, let's leap back to Bill Oddie with the word nib.
Lemming.
Clock.
Bat.
Elephant's foot umbrella stand.
Groan.
Challenged by Mr. John Cleese.
Could never have a foot if it hadn't grown.
Excellent. The power of that connection astonishes me. Let's go to
Can't give him-
John Cleese with the word wrist.
A wrist.
Wrist.
Stoat. Water. Pachyderm.
Buffalo.
Polyhydrate.
Buzz in
I personally knew a polyhydrate who owned a buffalo. You know Polly, she runs the...
Call a halt. I'll call a halt. I'll give that to John and
Polly's
Graham, 4
Buffalo
points to
Farm.
3. Now, each team will give the other team a subject on which they must improvise a 4-line calypso singing alternate lines. There are marks for this for wit and elegance of expression. We'll go to John and Graham first, who are going to regale us, although they don't know it yet, with the Christmas pudding calypso.
I had a shock on Christmas Day. My Christmas pudding was going grey. Old and wrinkled. And then I saw
It wasn't a pudding, it was my mother-in-law.
Sound of cold porter spinning. And now we go to Tim and Bill, and they're going to give us, as they suddenly discover, the show jumping calypso.
I got a first line. I went show jumping the other day. Saw Princess Anne, and I must say she did very well to get round the course. Considering she didn't have a horse.
Give the age to John and Graham there, 3-2. We go to the next round, which is called Sculpt the Sardine or Carry On Singing. This round involves individual players rather than teams. The first player starts a song, stops singing whenever he feels like it on a particular word, and a player of the other team has to pick it up on that word, but with a totally different song. Let's start with Bill, going to Graham, and then Tim, and then John. So we'll start with Bill. A song, please, Bill, anything you like.
I belong to Glasgow, dear.
Graham.
Ray, a drop of golden sun. Me, a name.
Name. It's not something. Name.
But you must not believe me when I say there's a tree that lives.
You wrote that, didn't you? Just now.
He may have done, but it's bound for the chart. You'll be having that one soon.
Farrago
Which
to
lives, he gave you.
Is it my turn?
Lives, Mr. Cleese, lives. I don't believe a word of that.
Lives under.
Neath the arches, I dream my dreams away.
Stand yonder in New Orleans, in the land.
It's
Jim.
my land. This land is your land. How does the next line go?
You've never been a estate agent.
For the bell of freedom. Or freedom.
Abysmal. They've just lost their independence.
Well, if they challenge us, we can go on.
Let's
Freedom come.
let's call it. Hold on. Let's start with Graham.
We win. Thank you. 5
We
points.
win.
The end of the contest.
Graham, start a song.
Retired.
Lash them with a song, Graham.
Promises. Do you know that one?
I don't know any songs.
Promises. Come on, you know it.
Oh, the Camptown ladies sing this song.
Song, I'm about to sing a song.
You don't have to, it's my go.
Oh, is it? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Song in my heart.
We're doing this.
Heart. Twice? I was helping you out. I won't ever again.
Hearts, the herald angels.
You have to sing.
Mind me, I don't like music.
Sing something simple.
Simple, Graham.
Simple. Simon.
Prompting. You threw your voice, Graham.
Met. They all met by moonlight, but that isn't a song, is it? No, met.
I'll hoot you there, Tim, and I'm going to make Mr. John Cleese, in fact, start a song, a real one this time, by way of a novelty, and stop at a particular word from your vast repertoire. Mr. Cleese.
We'll honour yet the school we knew, the best school of all. We'll honour yet the rule we knew till the last bell call. For happy days and holidays and sad and melancholy days, they were great.
Nearly the term ended, isn't it?
Great balls of fire!
Yes! Fire! Fire to Graham Gunn.
Fire down below.
Below, 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 blow, blow, blow the winter wind. Thou shouldst not be unkind as man's in.
Man's in.
Man, well, in.
Gilly, gilly, oss and fiffer
Bogan was
Bogan. Oh, no, I won't allow Bogan. I'll allow C.
Bye.
Bye. All right, bye. I'll allow bye.
by the light of the silvery moon.
Moon.
That can't be.
The moon river wider than a mile.
Mile.
Mile?
My old man said follow
My old man said follow the van.
Just.
And don't dilly-dally on the way.
Down upon the Swanee.
Swanee?
I'm going to make
How I love you, how I love you, my dear old Swanee.
Neat.
Swanee.
There isn't another, is there?
Swanee, those songs that...
Oh, God. I'll call a halt there. I'm going to declare the whole round as a win to Tim and Bill. Tim and Bill. 5. 4 points to 3. And in fact, gentlemen, you are locked in combat yet again with our tag wrestling part 2, in which we do as before, we give each of the teams the final line of a story, and then they've got...
Could we get in the parrot exterminator, please?
This is a monologue, not a catalogue. And now, we go to...
Cat? I wasn't a cat.
It was a cat to me for the purposes of what I was about to say. The 2 final lines, gentlemen all. Where are we? Ah, yes, Tim and Bill. You have, "So, monsieur," the dentist smiled and squeezed the trigger on his left boot. So, monsieur, the dentist smiled and squeezed the trigger on his left boot. And John and Graham, "Dada," gurgled the Spanish tot. And then the trampoline collapsed. So, monsieur, the dentist smiled and squeezed the trigger on his left boot. Tim and Bill, John and Graham, "Dada," gurgled the Spanish tot, and then the trampoline collapsed. Stimbrook Taylor's going to start the story. Go.
Bonjour. No, not bonjour. Bonjour, said Edward Heath. Bonjour, said the dentist, as the monsieur came into his dentistry.
I have here a bottle of whiskey. Would you like a tot?
Certainly.
Ladies, patience.
Bill.
Well, yes, I would like a tot, said the dentist. Well, you can't have one because there's no drinking in the surgery. Especially...
John.
But we could pop outside and go to the circus where there are some fascinating acts going on. So they strolled out from the...
Dim.
From the surgery and headed for the circus. Unfortunately, they found it wasn't in town that day, so they returned to the circus.
Graham.
The dentist said, when I offered you a tot just then, of course, I wasn't referring to the whiskey, but to this charming Spanish child. which
Bill.
Which has absolutely nothing to do with this story. In fact, back at the dentist's surgery, which was, of course, in Paris, a spy came.
John.
What was the last thing you said?
A spy came.
A spy came.
A spy came.
And said, the circus is on its... The what?
I Who did? I didn't let him
seconds
speak.
worth of
I
that.
didn't let him speak.
Oh, he didn't let
Tim.
me. He said, sit down in this chair, monsieur, and I will try and open your mouth. Ah, your mouth isn't opening, so let me put my left boot in there to keep it open.
Certainly not. Come in. How do you do, sir? I just came to tell you the circus is in town.
Yes. And the dentist said, but before you go to the circus, you better have your teeth done. So, so that you won't feel the pain, I want you to sew something.
Sorry,
So.
So.
He got into the seat, and he said, look, the only thing to keep your mouth open is to put my left foot in it. And there's an anaesthetic in my left foot. So, monsieur...
I told you before, certainly not. Come in. It's the trampoline you ordered, sir. Bring it
You'll find it a great deal more comfortable. You won't feel a thing if you lie on the trampoline and sew this button on my shirt, which will relax you. And then I can... So, I shall give you this...
This is all very surrealist, the dentist said. No, it's Dada, gurgled the Spanish cop, and then the trampoline collapsed.
A convincing win there.
Sudden eruption of Dada there. The next round is, in fact, where we return to our earlier subject of late arrivals, gentlemen. Earlier in the programme, I asked you to announce the late arrivals at the Musicians' Ball. The Musicians' Ball. John and Graham, any thoughts of the Musicians' Ball? I'm going to score for these as we go along.
Mr. and Mrs. Jean-Paul Dance. Dum dum dum. And son Charles-Louis Dance.
Oh.
Another arrival at the musicians' ball. Mr. and Mrs. Trick Guitar and their son, Alec.
Too off.
Mr. and Mrs. Bumps-a-Daisy and their son, Hans, and Hans' niece, and Bumps-a-Daisy.
And also arriving late at the musicians' ball, Mr. and Mrs. Hube, and their notoriously pornographic son, sometimes known as Blue Dan Hube.
Do you realise what's happened? We've just pulled up to a draw. I know you're going to do more of these. I announced the result of the competition a draw. They're going on. I knew they would.
Late
it's
arrival.
28 all to both teams. John,
Mr.
please.
and Mrs. Tree Two-Step and their daughter, Millie Tree
Mr. and Mrs. Evening and their children, Sam and Janet Evening.
Who are not admitted
good
because
night.
they are too old.
In that case,
But coming...
Mr. and Mrs. Launo Jazz Music in here. And their mama, Donna Launo Jazz.
Oh! It's good night.
And
It's all
also coming in closely behind them, their friends, Mr. and Mrs. Walls, came tumbling down, and their son, Andy Walls, came tumbling down.
That's it. Will you write it on the
Not to
head?
mention an extremely upper
Trudy
class.
Mendelssohn, the one-legged composer, and his shoe Bert.
That's it. So it's good night from John and Graham, Tim and
And
Bill.
Mr. and Mrs. Lynn, and their daughter, Mandy Lynn.
Oh!
And a very,
Dave
very
Lee, indeed.
posh family, Mr. and Mrs. Court Orchestra, and their daughter, Palm Court Orchestra.
Mr. and Mrs. Logan and their son, Barry Logan.
Mr. and Mrs. Ductors Batten and their son, Conductors Batten.
Mr. and Mrs. Organ and their son, Hammond.
Mr. and Mrs. Bear's Picnic.
That's it. Good night, all. Good night. That's it. Definitely. Round of applause. That was Barry Cryer saying goodbye on behalf of Tim Brooke Taylor, John Cleese, Graham Garden and Bill Oddie. Dave Lee at the piano and producer John Castle. We present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, and your chairman tonight, Barry Cryer. Hello and welcome to another edition of I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the show that is to radio what Arthur Mullard is to flower arrangement. And with our very own Mr. Dave Lee at the piano, may I introduce the two opposing teams. Mr. John, all the spoons in the glasses, Cleese. Graham are my seamed straight garden. And opposite to them, Bill, I can't quite put my finger on it, Oddie. And Tim, I was on the television last night. We ran out of chairs. Brooke Taylor! Let us plunge headlong into the first round, gentlemen. The first round is our singing musical, not that those are necessarily relevant, singing relay. In this round, one of the players of each team starts off a song, and he and his partner must sing a duet, but each singing alternate words. Any player who falters or messes up our game is declared soppy, and several points go to the other side. I think we'll start picking up the lyrics. Let's start with John and Graham. The song in question is Roses of Picardy.
We have to do this, don't we? Roses are shining in Picardy, in the hush of the silver dew. Roses are flowering in Picardy, but there's never a rose like you. And the roses will die with the summertime, and our roads may fall apart. But there's one rose that dies not in Picardy. 'Tis the rose that I keep in my heart.
That was Roses Are Blooming, I'm sorry, in Picardy. And we go to Tim and Bill with the song When I'm 64.
When I get older, losing my hair many years from now, will you still be sending me a Valentine birthday greetings bottle of wine? If I'd been out till 2:45, would you lock the door? Will you still need me? Will you still be me when I'm 60?
Tim and Bill, a few mistakes, but a harder song. 2-all.
Yes.
2-all to that. Now, this is where I set up something for later in the programme. Gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to announce some late arrivals at a particular function, and we'll ask you their names later. Will you please specify the late arrivals at the Mechanics Ball? The Mechanics Ball, gentlemen. Later in the programme, we shall return. We move to our first session of tag wrestling in this programme, ladies and gentlemen. Tag meaning a tagline, the end line of a story. I'm going to give each team the tagline of a story or anecdote, and I shall start with one team who must tell a story ending in that tag. When I press my buzzer, the story passes to the other side, who must work towards their finishing line. The winning team is the one who reaches the tagline first. Tim and Bill, would you construct a story that finishes, because we were driving on the right-hand side of the road, we couldn't see that the elephant had deflated. Because we were driving on the right-hand side of the road, we couldn't see that the elephant had deflated. John and Graham. Mamma mia, shouted Macpherson. Whipped off his gas mask and revealed he was not the ice cream man he claimed to be. So it's Tim and Bill with Because We Were Driving on the Right-Hand Side of the road, we couldn't see the elephant had deflated. John and Graham, Mamma Mia, shouted Macpherson, whipped off his gas mask and revealed he was not the ice cream man he claimed to be. We will start with Graham Garden.
See who's at the door, dear, said Mother. It's Mr. Macpherson, the ice cream man, I replied.
Tim.
Come in, Mr. Oh, it's not you. It's the AA man with our route map for France. Thank you very much. We can set straight off. And over the channel we went, and there we were, driving on the right-hand side.
John.
In France, are not encountering any problems whatsoever, it being a country notoriously absent so far as elephants are concerned.
Bill.
And so we continued on down to Africa. French equatorial Africa, where, of course, they all...
Graham.
Well, by chance, our motor car broke down, but luckily we got a lift home on Mr. Macpherson's ice cream van.
Tim.
A notoriously unreliable vehicle. 100 yards we got. Just at that moment, around the corner came a wild elephant.
Nothing came round the corner, John.
Nothing came around the corner. Macpherson nipped off, mended the tyre, and returned resolutely on the left-hand side of the road, dodging all the traffic coming straight at him.
Bill.
And drove straight back to England, where he was surprised to find a policeman waiting at the door. He said, I have to charge you with driving on the wrong side of the road.
Graham.
Take us there, Paul.
Nonsense, said Macpherson, denying it. And saying that he was not, in fact, to blame for what he had done.
He said, Macpherson, when we were not drunk, Constable, I swear it was an elephant. I know that we have been later told that, in fact, it was a balloon, like an elephant, that was inflated.
But this is on account of my selling intoxicating ice cream. Rum flavoured. With little bits of pistachio nuts and some of that pasty, the special pasty that they get from,
An excuse that may be, and that explains exactly why you were drunk.
John.
Exactly why you were drunk. And because we were drunk, we were driving on the right-hand side. And we couldn't...
Graham.
Good heavens, said Macpherson, I think that's my mother.
Tim.
No, said his wife, it's an inflatable elephant. At that moment, Constable...
Admitting that they were practically indistinguishable, the elephant deflated, thus making it practically impossible for it to be deflated again.
The elephant deflated, but unfortunately we couldn't see that the elephant deflated because we were driving on the right-hand side of the road. And therefore we couldn't see that the elephant had deflated.
It was wrong way round, but they got there finally. There, Timmy will return. It was a gat rather than a tag at that moment, but we will return to tag wrestling in a moment, and we in fact move to our next round, which is limericks. Limerick time. I'm going to give each team the first line of a limerick, which they must complete by each team member taking alternate lines. Marks will be given for cleanliness, and 1 mark will be deducted for each solicitor's letter received. Let's start with Tim and Bill. Tim and Bill. There was an old man with a stutter.
There was an old man with a stutter. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes,
With
yes.
a stutter.
Who massaged his larynx with... margarine.
He oiled his false teeth.
And to his relief...
He found he could talk so much butter.
And we go to John and Graham, who are going to tell us about there was a young fellow from Troon. There was a young fellow from Troon.
There was a young fellow from... Troon?
Yes, I'll allow that, yes.
Who sat down one day on a spoon.
He said, that's so nice.
But I won't do it twice.
And never again is too soon.
Oh, mellifluous.
It's an interesting concept, that.
2 points for that. Let's have another one from Tim and Bill. There once was a tractor called Bert. There once was a tractor called Bert.
There once was a tractor called Bert.
Get away. Who pulled a cart over the dirt.
He went over some furrows.
And 12 rabbit burrows.
And said, oh, God, blimey, that hurt.
Magnificent, said he impartially. 3 points. But John and Graham, a chance to hit back with, there was a young lady so coy. There was a young lady so coy.
There was a young lady so coy
That she'd never been out with a boy.
so she...
Caution, Graham. Good evening, officer. We've got some visitors in the studio. Do sit down. Go on, Graham.
So she hid in a sack
And lay on her back.
a most unsatisfactory ploy.
Now, the next round is called I Want to Be Brian Ricks, or Word for Word. I'm going to give each team a word, and they must immediately come up with another word which has nothing whatsoever to do with the word I gave them. The other team can challenge and try and establish a connection. I'll start with John Cleese, and I'll give him the word cassock.
Elf.
Botanical.
Spoon.
Runcible.
Interruption by Bill and Tim. 2 fingers above a
Tim
single
Roll?
thought.
Get away with that.
Runcible spoon.
Never heard of it.
Runcible spoon. It's a vague, tenuous connection. I'm going to allow that. I'm going to give a point to Tim and Bill. And let's leap to Tim with the word bollard.
Joke. Catherine wheel.
Pie.
Hassock.
Stoke.
Cathedral.
Bush baby.
Fire engine.
Gnu.
Neanderthal man.
Odd.
Challenged by Graham
Connection
Garden.
between GNU and Neanderthal man. And the spelling.
Not allowing that.
No.
That's two points to Tim and Bill for silliness. And now, Graham, here's another punishment. Your word crypt.
Artichoke.
Polyandry.
Muscle.
Adidocokinetic.
Epoxy resin.
Salt.
Interruption by Bilodi.
It may be an old wives' tale, but I was always told that if you do have epoxy resin, salt is a very good remedy.
I'd heard
Here's
that,
an old
Bill.
wives' tale and you get no mark.
No. I'd heard that too, Bill. Bill and I shared the same old wife for quite some time. 2 points. Bill, will you follow on the word denture?
Cigar.
Boot.
Wombat.
Microphone.
Knee bone.
Eiffel Tower.
Pomegranate.
Wombat.
Repetition.
Repetition.
That's
but that doesn't,
not
that's
in the
not in the
rules.
rules, actually. Not
Well,
in
we
the
ought to
rules.
put it in.
One
I
for
think
silly
we-
buzzing for Tim and Bill. One for silly buzzing.
Yes.
They say Bamber Gascoigne started like this. I can't see it. Our next round is musical, and many of you do not know that Mr. Brooke Taylor insured his voice for £10,000 and had a whale of a time with the money. This round involves individual players rather than teams. The first player starts a song, stops singing whenever he feels like it, and a player on the opposing team has to pick it up on the word at which he stopped and start a completely different song starting with that word. Let's start with Graham.
Happy days are here again.
Again. Never say never. Again,
Oh.
'cause here I am in love again. It's just a thing I said I'd never do.
Do.
Do a dear if he Ray, a little piece of fish.
Dreadful!
Stingray.
Had a sting in the toe.
No. I want to start another song immediately. I feel rather ill. I want to start another song with Bill Oddie, please.
I've got hiccups.
This is a repeat. Sorry.
When I see me till I see coming through the rye.
Rye hick, actually. Rye to Graham.
Rye whiskey.
Rye, a piece of golden sand.
Excellent.
Me a name I call myself.
Self.
Go on, I'm enjoying it, Graham. Self.
Myself.
A racing flower is something you buy. McDougal's is the name.
You've just written that and it'll make a fortune. I'm going to disqualify that. Mr. John Cleese. Mr. John Cleese will now sing a song, stopping, hopefully. But a word.
That's a word.
But a word.
The only one I know is my old school song.
Part two.
We enjoyed it very
Happy
much.
days and holidays and sad and melancholy days. They were great days and... That's an easy one.
And
if you tell her, and if you tell them, and I'm certainly going to tell them.
You tell them,
that, that you're the boy whose wife someday. That can't be right. But the girl whose husband someday I'll be.
B, Graham. Because, one word, not because.
Because I'm a Londoner, that I love London.
Done.
London,
Done.
I love...
Done. Done.
John Cleese, please. Another point to Tim and Bill, and let's have Tim. Tim starting the final song of this round. Tim.
Oh, the shrimp boats is a-coming, there's...
You didn't stop.
There's.
He didn't know the next word.
No, he didn't.
There's...
Golden haze on the meadow.
There's a rainbow round my shoulder. That's enough.
Shoulder.
Over my shoulder.
Goes one leg over my shoulder.
Two lovely black eyes.
What a voice.
What a voice!
Surprise! Is that where you left off? Yes. Surprise!
You're dickering and dockering, Tim.
I am what? Surprise!
Hoot.
Surprise! Open the oyster shell.
Just 4-3 to John and Graham. Let's leap on to Tag Wrestling Part 2, in which, as before,
Failure.
each team will be given a tagline of a story and make their separate ways towards it. Let's change the order of giving taglines. Swap it round a bit. John and Graham, your tagline: the rose fell off the duck's hat, and we all went home early. I'm sorry, so we all went home early. I think that's more interesting. The rose fell off the duck's hat, so we all went home early. And Tim and Bill, will you work towards hooray, shouted the girls. And Arthur Negus did a dance. So it's the rose fell off the duck's hat, so we all went home early, for John and Graham, and Tim and Bill, hooray, shouted the girls, and Arthur Negus did a dance. Tim and Bill, will you start your story, please?
Well, said Arthur Negus, using another voice from the usual. This is an interesting little clock here. I see it has little figures.
John, please.
clock. It's in the form of a duck. I never seen one like this my whole life. And look here, on the top of this clock is a sort of hat.
Bill.
And he handed the duck with the rose on top of its hat to the next contestant, who unfortunately dropped it and smashed it into smithereens.
Not to worry, said Arthur. I'll mend it in a jiffy, and he did. And incidentally, he said... Tim.
He said, I feel like a bit of duck and ate it. And he was then given the next object. And he said, yes, I beg your
But in his haste to identify the next object, I don't know why I'm talking like this because it's not relevant, he omitted to notice the duck's hat, which was quite indigestible.
Bill.
And lying on the floor, so he kicked it out of the way and picked up an antique banjo. This, he said, I would like to play, but unfortunately I need a little encouragement.
Graham. Nobody was prepared to encourage him very much to play the banjo. And he said, let's go home. And Arthur said, certainly.
And he said to one of the other contestants, what's your name? And he said, Ted Ray. And he said, who? He said, Ray.
At this moment I walked into the studio, holding the usual rose between my teeth, and placed it on the duck's hat, which was lying underneath
Bill.
And Arthur said, if you're Ted Ray, I'll do a little dance. Now, what was your name again? Who? And the girl...
Say it to him, I love it. My name is Irrelevant. Arthur Irrelevant. At that moment, the rose, which was on the duck's hat, the rose...
Rose. And he said, who? I'm sorry to be so inquisitive. Ray, shouted the girls. And Arthur Negus did it.
Excellent. 3-0 to Tim and Bill. 3-0, and we move now to blues time. Blues time, gentlemen. I'll give each team a subject on which they must improvise a 4-line blues, singing alternate lines. And there are marks for wit and ethnic feel. For anybody who... Yes. Blues time, and I'll give you the subjects. John and Graham, will you compose a Lady Godiva blues? Lady Godiva. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah. Rhymes with Godiva. Liver. Shriver. Sergeant Shriver.
I woke up this morning. I took a look outside. Oh, yes, I did.
And there was a lady called Godiva.
You don't say.
And she was going for a ride.
Yeah.
With nothing on.
She was riding side saddle.
And my house was on the wrong side.
Like it. Tim and Bill, will you give us the Napoleon blues? The Napoleon blues. Dave will introduce it slowly.
Well, I woke up this morning, found Napoleon by my side.
Spread it out, baby, it's like a library friend.
I repeat that if you
It's
want.
all right. Yes, I woke up this morning.
Good for you.
No, I didn't. Napoleon wasn't by my side. I just lied in bed all day.
So I said to myself, what a wonderful world.
Well, at least I tried, which rhymes with light inside.
It had the real authentic messiness. Let's go to John and Graham. Give them another subject for a blues. Gentlemen, would you like to say a blues on the subject of a rubber dinghy? The rubber dinghy blues. Graham Garden is wearing a very worried expression.
Well,
I woke up yesterday afternoon and found I was in a dinghy. As he stopped, I can't do this stupid thing. I just lay there, trying to think of rhymes for rubber dinghy, such as Pingy. That Pinky wasn't very good. So if you can think of a rhyme, give me a ringy.
Surging to a triumphant climax, Tim and Bill, the electric toothbrush blues. The electric toothbrush.
That's right, Bill.
Well, I woke up about 3:30 sometime last night, a couple of weeks ago, with an electric toothbrush by my side. I plugged it in the mains, and I damn near died. I can tell you what. All right, you nearly died, 'cause when I put it in my mouth, I got a toasted tongue and my gums near fried.
Steaming. Oh, a 3-0 win there to Tim and Bill in its late arrivals time. Gentlemen, we revert to... Look at pain on Mrs. Cleese's face. We revert to our late arrivals at the Mechanics' Ball, gentlemen, starting with John Cleese, who arrived late at the Mechanics' Ball.
Mr. and Mrs. Drover and their son, Alan Drover.
A Land Rover.
Arriving late at the Mechanics' Ball, Mr. and Mrs. Ing Station and their son, Filling Station.
And arriving from Sweden,
Oh, yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Grease and their son, Axel.
He might be there somewhere.
And arriving from Ireland, Mr. and Mrs. Anical Failure and their son, Mick Anical Failure. Mr. and Mrs. Proprietor and their son, Garage Proprietor.
And arriving from the north of England, Mr. and Mrs. Freeze and their relations, Uncle Freeze and Auntie Freeze.
They never stop. Tim and Bill, a runaway win on this programme, a runaway win. You're winning at the moment. They're going to go on.
Well, let's consolidate and rub their little noses into the ground.
let's
then.
keep very quiet.
It's the last.
Mr. and Mrs. Talbot and their son, Beam Talbot.
So it's good night from me and Dave Lee.
Mr. and Mrs. Earth. Think about it. Mr. and Mrs. Earth Gear and their son who's just entered the church is, of course, the Rev Earth Gear.
Closely followed by Mr. and Mrs. God and their son, who is so unpopular and unpleasant that his name is Mud God.
If you have any ideas, write to me, David Kossoff, BBC, 5 to 10.
Not to
Corinthians 6
mention
to 9.
Mr. and Mrs. Iculated Lorry and their son, Art Iculated Lorry.
I resign. Good night all from John Cleese, Graham Garden,
Screen Wiper
Tim Brooke
and
Taylor
their
and Bill
Welsh
Ossey.
son, Wind Screen Wiper.
That was Barry Cryer saying goodbye on behalf of Tim Brooke Taylor, John Cleese, Graham Garden and Bill Oddie. Dave Lee at the piano and producer John Castle.
We present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, a panel game, and your chairman tonight, Humphrey Littleton.
Hello. Well, the score at the moment stands at 483 to 13, so there's everything to play for. And here are your two teams for tonight. First team, Joe Kendall and Graham Garden. And opposing them, John Cleese and Tim Brooke Taylor. In this first round, I ask each team to sing a song, but singing alternate words. If anyone sings only 2 words, or half a word, or dries up altogether, or parts company with Dave Lee's accompaniment, then that team can salvage a point by doing it at twice the speed. Joe and Graham, your song, please, is When I'm 64.
When
I get older,
losing
my
hair,
many
years
from
now,
will you still
be
sending
me
a
Valentine
birthday
greeting
bottle
of
wine?
if
I'd
be
out
till
2:45.
would
You
lock
the
the door.
will
You
still
need
me?
will
You
still
need
me
when
I'm
60?
Joe Kendall fell at the last fence, so will you do it at twice the speed and see if you can get through it?
when
I get older,
losing
my
hair
many
years
from
now.
will
You
still
be
sending
me
a
Valentine
birthday
greeting
bottle of wine.
if
I'd
been
out
till
2:45.
would lock the door.
Will
You still need me.
That was pretty good. 3 out of a possible 2. Now, Tim and John, your song is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Rudolph the... Hey, that's a bit fast.
It's been an objection.
Oh, well, come on. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would say no. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never met poor Rudolph joined in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Rudolph, with your nose so bright, how won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then on the rain.
It was longer than theirs, Uncle Hump.
You can redeem a mark by singing that at a...
No, we can't. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer game. Then one foggy Christmas Eve.
Two marks for that version, making the score 3-2 at the moment. Later on in the program, towards the very end of the program, I'm going to ask the teams to announce people with silly names to a particular function, and to give the players time to think them up, I'll leave it until right to the end of the program before I ask for their silly names, but they are going to have to announce the late arrivals at the Stage, Screen and Radio Ball. Now we have the round word for word. I'm going to give each team a word, and they must immediately come up with another word which has nothing whatever to do with the word I gave them. The other team can challenge and try to prove a connection. We're going to start with John and Tim, and your word to start off with is jumper.
Bat.
Cucumber.
Strength.
Antediluvian.
Banana.
Crochet.
Stoat.
Umbrella.
Hair.
Toenail.
Boot.
Graham's challenge. What's your challenge, Graham?
Well, I think hairs and toenails are really connected, aren't they?
Not collected, anyway.
Well, you'd be surprised.
Yourself.
Well, yes, I'll allow that one. On the grounds that rhinoceroses' toenails are made of hair, I'm told.
Yes?
Yes.
Absolutely true. Every word of it.
Any queries from listeners should be directed to the living world. Graham, start off with bracket.
Hexagon.
Challenge from John.
Geometric terms.
Quite, exactly. 2 points.
And the next.
Now, one to Graham there, because it's
Right,
not a
right.
geometric. Bracket's an architectural term.
Well, algebraic.
John, you start then with refuse.
Refuse.
Challenge.
Refuse and refuse are connected.
In what way?
They are, in fact, collected in this case.
Start again, John. Refuse.
Refuse. Steed.
Pardon?
Steed.
I said pardon.
Adiadocokinetic.
Elephant's foot umbrella stand.
Stilton.
Crumpet.
Mice.
When in doubt. Walking stick.
Exercise book.
Tractor.
Cosmonaut.
Lynx.
Portuguese island of Macau.
Throat.
Puma.
Armchair.
Tome.
Love nest.
Vowel.
I'm going to stop that now because we've already run into the next program by 10 minutes.
Is anybody hurt?
9 to Tim and John for endurance, and 2 to Joe and Graham for atrophy of the buzzer-pressing finger. And I think we'll go on. Oh, we'll give them one more. Joe, let you start with the word smut.
Clock.
Pentameter.
Horse.
Duke.
Duke of Wellington rode a horse.
Here.
Yeah, he rode a horse.
And he also had a horse that we called Norman.
Right,
He
Tim.
also had an elephant's foot umbrella stand. We didn't stop you.
Tim, will you start with the word giggle?
Trumpet. Spoon. Microphone.
Elf.
Elephant's foot umbrella stand.
Elephant's foot umbrella.
Oh! Repetition.
Different game.
No, we had that, it is. Yeah, I give you that point. We did have that 3 months ago. That makes the score now
Just because my vocabulary
very
is limited.
exciting. The next round is world records. This is where I'm going to read out a world record to each member of the team, but I'm not going to tell him or her what the record is for, and we will have 150 points for a correct definition and 1 point for anybody who gets anywhere near it. Tim, yours is the first world record, and it is 366 halfpennies, 26 sixpences, 17 threepences, 11 pennies, 4 shillings, total 424 coins, and the value £1 17 and 5 pence in the old money?
It's a relief. I thought you were going to ask me to add them up.
I'll do that later.
Yes, I know that one, actually.
Yeah.
Can I answer it if I know it, actually?
Yes, yes.
Ah, pity I said that. It's in fact, sounding like Cluffy now, it's, yes, you know the astronauts on the moon?
Not personally.
Not personally. Well, and then I can tell you all about it. Speaking down to Houston, you have that beep. Well, that in fact are the pips on the telephone, and those are the coins they have to put in the telephone when the pips go.
You mean £1.17 and 5 pence for 3 minutes, is it?
Isn't that right? Oh, it's telling us as much
No,
as
it's
3
more
minutes.
than that.
Yeah.
It's gone up. I'll give you 1 point for being within, well, I won't say within the same universe. Because in fact the answer is it's the most number of coins swallowed by anything other than an ostrich. They were found in the stomach of a 54-year-old man.
It had killed him, presumably.
No, it was his way of saving. John Cleese, your record is 9 Hebrew cubits.
Well, a cubit, as far as I know, is 4.5 inches, so 9 3 is 36, so 30 is 40 and a half, 40 and a half inches. So it is the greatest height ever reached by an Egyptian space probe.
Well, actually, you're not in the same universe, but I'll give you a mark for that for ingenuity.
Actually, it is the greatest height that has ever been jumped by an Israeli Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries without dislocating a hip.
It was.
That, yes, you get an extra mark.
Sorry, last night.
Yes.
It has been
You
broken.
get an additional mark for that because I'm assuming that he jumped Og, the king of Bashan and Gilead.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Because 9 Hebrew cubits is the height, or was the height, of Og, the king of Bashan and Gilead,
Dead right.
who is said to be the tallest recorded man, although it's computed on the flimsiest of evidence. It's based on the length of his
What did he
arm
record?
bedstead.
Because I didn't know he was
On the length of his what?
Based on the length of his arm bedstead.
Oh, yeah.
But for all I know,
Wonderful what you can pick up just sitting in the car with the radio on. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
for all I know, he and his wife may have liked to sleep sort of head to foot, so to speak. So I don't think it's a very good answer, that. But still, you get your 2 marks for that. Graham Garden. Your record is 160 million times from June 1948 to June 1956, a total of 8 years.
160 million times in 8 years. 65 days a year. It can't be that, surely. 160 million times. Yes, I know. It is, in fact, the newspaper stuffing record held by a man in Cleveland, Ohio. Is that right? Anyway, it is. And
The right continent.
he, in fact, stuffed 160 million copies of the Times into the ear of a live Thompson's Gazelle between those dates in the space of 8 years. Is that right?
I'm assuming that as a result of that, he then set up the longest recorded attack of hiccups. Is that right?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Well, you get your 2 marks.
I thought it was the Gazelle.
Yes, he was in fact not from Cleveland, Ohio. He was from Los Angeles. Jack O'Leary was his name, and he hiccuped 160 million times in an attack lasting 8 years. Of the 60,000 remedies that he tried, only one eventually worked. And you get an extra 15,000 marks if you can tell me what that is. But can't wait.
Death.
It was a prayer to St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes. Right, Joe, it's your... you get 2 marks for that, Graham, because you were very, very close to it. Joe, yours is a simple one. 15,000 nudes.
It's all the members of the House of Commons, the House of Lords, the staff of Buckingham Palace, and the entire civil service without their clothes on.
Could well be, actually. Be interesting to see if it is.
I think the latest figures show
Who, back in the year 1964, 1 year before it closed, visited the L'Île du Levant nudist camp. Is that right?
That's absolutely
Yes,
it.
right.
That's what I was thinking
Right.
of.
Because this is the number of people in the world's largest nudist camp, which is the place I just said and can't pronounce again. It contained 15,000 naturists, and it was a nudist camp until 1965, when it was taken over by the French Navy for defense purposes.
Is that the bare facts?
Exactly. Now we have the round that's called misleading readings. Each team will be asked to perform a short scene from a well-known work, classical, and the other side must guess what it is. They're going to, naturally enough, perform it in disguised accents. Joe and Graham, your reading first of all, please.
And Joe and Graham's reading is from The Three Sisters by Anton Chekhov.
The audience now knows the answer. Joe and Graham, away you go.
They called you Major for some reason or other.
Well, that's it, yeah.
That's the reading. Would you like a little more?
No, thank you.
No, that's fine.
Well, you're getting it.
The lovesick major, that's what they called me.
In those days, you only had a moustache. Oh dear, how much older you look. How much older?
Yeah, well, I was still a young man in the days when they called me the lovesick major. I was in love with a different now, though.
But you haven't got a single grey hair. You've aged, yes, but you're certainly not an old man.
Nevertheless, I've turned 42, Is it long since you left Moscow? That's a clue.
11 years. What was the street you lived in?
In the Staraya Basmalaya.
How funny, we did too.
Get away.
That's the end, is it?
Yeah, you're telling me.
If you have a clue there, I think this is probably one of the earlier pieces by Stolnikayev or possibly Razmolnikov. What do you feel?
Yes, first time at Wembley.
Yes. I think he's going to be the sweeper up, and I think Chekhov's probably going to be one of the strikers.
I should think so,
I
yes.
think we'll put him down the middle and...
a little more attack, I think, is required on the side. Yes. We reckon it's Russian. And because we don't know any others, we'd say Chekhov. Now we're pushed. It's not, as John says, seagulls over Sorrento.
No.
I'll give you a clue to the extent that I thought it was by Louisa M. Alcott.
Louisa M. Alcott.
Little cherry orchards.
The Seagull
Three
Women.
Sisters.
I dare after a bit of help, so you get 2 marks for that. And will you, Tim and John, give your reading now for Joe and Graham?
Which is, of course, from William Shakespeare's Henry V.
Put off your maiden blushes about the thoughts of your heart with the looks of an empress. I am thine.
That is as it shall please the roi, mon père.
Nay, it will please him well, Kate. It shall please him, Kate.
Then it shall also content me.
Upon that I kiss your handing and call you my queen. laissez, monseigneur, laissez, ma foi, je ne veux point, am I boring you at all? Que vous abaissez votre grandeur en baissant la main d'une de votre seigneurie. No way to get into the common market in the... Excusez-moi, je vous supplie, mon très puissant seigneur.
Madame, my interpreter, what says she?
That is not be the fashion for the ladies of France. I cannot tell what is better on English.
To kiss.
Your Majesty entend better que moi.
It is not a fashion for the maids in France to say kiss before they are married. Would she say?
Oui, Raymond.
And that concludes the reading for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. There are sufficient clues there, we hope, for the right panel opposite to be able to guess both the play and the characters involved.
Joe Kendall and Graham Garden, can you identify that?
Yes, well, there was there some French in there somewhere?
No.
Not really, no.
No. Well, that was misleading at first. Otherwise, it sounded very like... does it come from the complete works?
Whose complete work? Whose?
Things.
You know,
Things.
the Shakespeare one.
Oh, the Shakespeare, no. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, William. William. It's his brother, William.
William Shakespeare.
Yes.
Shakespeare Brothers.
Now there's a clue, because they only wrote one play, the Shakespeare Brothers. It's a historical play, and it's one of the 5 Henrys in it, one of the 8 Henrys.
Make up your mind. Which? One of the
5th
5,
of
one
the
of the
8.
8.
Which? 5th of the 8th, fair enough.
Henry the 5/8.
Just his hat.
I thought at one point this would become a historical program before we got the answer out of them. But anyway, it was in fact Henry V by Shakespeare, so you get your 2 marks. The score at the moment, I feel it incumbent upon me to tell you, that the score at the moment is to Tim Brooke Taylor and John Cleese, 34, and to Joe Kendall and Graham Garden, 37. So it's really become jolly tense. This next round is called tag wrestling. I'm going to give each team the tagline of a story or anecdote. I shall start off with one team who must tell a story ending in their tag, but when I press the buzzer, the story passes to the other side, who must work towards their finishing line too. If you have any idea at the moment about how this round is going to work, you're way ahead of me. The winning team is the one who reaches their tagline first. So we'll start with Graham and Joe, and your tag is as follows. Goodness, said the cook, whatever is Roger doing hanging upside down in my nightie from the clock tower of Kuala Lumpur Town Hall?
Roger doing? Hanging upside down.
And John and Tim, you realize this means war, said the Archbishop, taking off his wooden leg and handing it to the first violinist. Joe and Graham, to start the story off, please.
Right. It was a beautiful day in Kuala Lumpur as noon struck from the clock in the clock tower of the town hall. Cook was hanging out her washing when Roger, her boyfriend, crept up behind her and goosed
and said, Roger, what are you doing here? I thought you were still in England. And Roger said, I beg your pardon, and took the first plane back to England. Back in England, he was marrying Nancy, a nice little girl who worked on the farm down in Somerset.
However, he was very unhappily married, so flew straight back to Kuala Lumpur, where the cook was again doing her washing, and he was so happy that he leapt into her nightie.
At this moment, a large coach came round the corner, being one of the coaches chartered by the extremely large ecclesiastical orchestra, which was making a tour of the Far East. Amongst the very heavy complement of woodwind players and
Look out, cried Roger, as the coach plunged into the river. Climbing up the clock tower, still in the nightie, he rapidly approached Cook once again, but unbeknownst to her, he slipped on a bar of soap. Oh.
Just in time to avoid the second bus load. Drove out. Out leapt the Archbishop, wooden leg in hand.
But Roger ignored him, and as he was a campanologist, he climbed back up the clock tower in order to ring the bell. Seeing him at that moment, the cook said, "Goodness," said the cook, "whatever is Roger doing?"
The Archbishop, leaping out with his wooden leg in hand, with his wooden hand in leg, plunged to the fallen coach and pulled out all the violinists except for the first violinist, who was badly trapped between the dashboard and the rear wheel.
Interesting. Roger, seeing this, laughed so hard that he slipped off the clock tower. His nightie caught halfway down, and Cook, looking up, said, "Goodness me, what is Roger doing hanging upside down in my nightie from the clock tower of Kuala Lumpur Town Hall?" Yes.
I'll give that to
merciful, if nothing.
Graham and Joe, because they got very, very close to it on 2 occasions. Now, the time has come for me to ask the teams to announce their late arrivals. Let me remind you, these are the late arrivals at the stage, screen and radio ball.
Mr. and Mrs.
Pardon?
Starring Glenda Jackson. And their daughter, Elizabeth, starring Glenda Jackson.
Mr. and Mrs. Earth Island Disc, introduced as usual by Roy Plumley. And their son, Des, Earth Island Disc.
Mr. and Mrs. Otterswold and their son, Tom.
Lord and Lady Box Jury, and their son, Duke Box Jury, an elderly gentleman.
Mr. and Mrs. Ick Roundabout. And their daughter, Madge. Ick Roundabout.
How about the intellectuals, Mr. and Mrs. Snee, and their daughter, Claire Snee.
Yes,
where the intellectuals tonight.
Very French. Rather short on intellectuals.
Whose turn?
Mr. and Mrs. Cording Studio and their son, Rick.
At this point, I'm going to tell you that the score is absolutely level pegging, with Joe and Graham at 77 and Tim and John at 84. So unless there are any further arrivals...
We collided in the doorway. David Jacobs and his good friend Annie questions.
Mr. and Mrs. Abita and their son, Alf.
The time has really come to say that that's the end of this edition of I'm Sorry, I Haven't a Clue. And it's our thanks to the contesting teams, Joe Kendall and Graham Garden. Who are leading by 1 mark, and John Cleese and Tim Brooke Taylor. Who are leading by 3 marks. Dave Lee at the piano. And for me, goodbye.
That was Humphrey Littleton saying goodbye on behalf of Tim Brooke Taylor, John Cleese, Graham Garden and Joe Kendall. Dave Lee at the piano and producer John Castles.